Preparing to live stream the meeting. And then this way I'll be able to see the chat too on my screen.
Can I see the chat? Will the chat show up in Zoom?
We must be live because it already, all right, I paused it. All right, I have the chat. You cannot see the chat on Zoom.
Okay.
Hi, everybody, if you're there. You cannot, I can because it's on my YouTube page. But, okay. And then this way
I need to, hold on. Let me turn my volume off on my phone. All right.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of a lag. So, yep, we already got people here. As everyone can see, our mystery guest already. We have a mystery guest, Mrs. Holly Robinson. I actually just texted like all the pastors' wives. I said, okay, who wants to be on the show tonight? Really fast, like 2 hours ago, right? Yeah, 2 hours ago, I texted you guys, 2.5 hours ago. And she offered to be on. So I'm glad. If you guys have any show ideas, shoot them my way. I'm always looking for ideas. A lot of times I'm so busy during the week, I never really get to it. And then my Monday was super busy today, so I didn't really think about it. I need to get it lined up a week before. But so welcome, Holly.
Thanks.
Mrs. Robinson. How are you?
We're doing good. I'm good. Mondays are always crazy. It's like my recuperation day. I always spend Monday just slow and catching up on, I don't know, when we're not home on the weekends, I don't know what happens, but my house just explodes. I don't really understand how it happens because we're not here, but it does. Yep. So Monday, I'm just recuperating.
Yes, I think that's true for any pastor's family, even if you're not a pastor's family, because I know in our church and yours too, probably, we have a lot of people that drive and stay the whole day.
Yeah, we stay all day.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then you know how it is. You get there at, well, we have Sunday school as well. So we get there at 9:30. We have Sunday school at 10, regular service at 11. So we get there at 9 and we're there till about 8 at night. So
yeah, our second service is, we've moved it to 4 p.m. So we're done a little bit earlier, but we usually don't go home until around 7 even. So.
Yep, it's crazy. So yeah, I actually, we sleep in every Monday. I let the kids start school later. Most of my kids do a half day on Monday. And then I actually just read a book until like noon today and finished that book. So I got to read a book, so that was fun. Yes, someone suggested another episode with a different pastor and his wife. Those were so much fun. And it's funny because we were just talking about it. My husband, we will eventually have you guys on again, but my husband was saying that we needed to do more couples interviews, but I wanted to wait until he was able to do it with me. And right now he's not, because he has to wake up at 2 a.m. So he has to be in bed by 7:30 on Monday night, but he is going full time at the church in 4 weeks. So look for the beginning of March. I'll probably start monthly episodes of more couples, having the couples on here. And there's a couple couples we have not had, and there's a few couples that you don't know, you've never met. So I would like to get everyone on here eventually. So over this year, I'm hoping to get most everyone in. But okay, tell us a little bit about your family now. How old are your girls now?
So Emma is our youngest, and she is 7 months. She'll be 8 months here in a few, 2 weeks, about 2 weeks. And Anna's 2.5. Her birthday's in May, so she'll be 3 coming up soon. And Clara's 4. Her birthday's in September. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah. We were just talking about it before we went live, but Holly is in the time of my life that is a dark hole. I do not remember that time of my life. It's the time of your life when you probably need most, like a maid, a cleaning service, a cooking service, you know, all those things.
Yeah, I would say the maid would be most helpful for me.
Yes, me too.
Because as I'm cleaning, my girls are, Anna and Clara are pretty good at entertaining. They can entertain themselves fairly well together for a decent amount of time where I'm able to get something accomplished during the day. But while I'm cleaning, they're usually making a mess in the next room. So I take 1 step forward and 2 steps back with the cleaning. But yeah, it is what it is. That's okay.
I know how that is. I was in my room. I had forgotten because I've had such a gap. There's a 5-year gap between Lana and Kelly. So I was doing laundry in my room today and I was trying to clean. And everything that I was like throwing away, papers and stuff, Kelly was going right behind me and tearing it all out of the trash bag. So it was like anything I was putting in the trash, she was pulling out of the trash. So it was funny. Okay, but listeners, I need your help right now. Okay, this is going to be a Q&A from you guys, not necessarily me to Holly. I'll ask her some questions if we have any dead space, but I want you guys to start leaving questions. Ask anything. We're gonna take different shots at answering it. Maybe I'll just let her answer them all. I don't know. No, but I thought it'd be fun to have a different point of view, even though Holly reminds me a lot of me in some ways. So
I think when we did those personality assessments, we were
yes,
very
we were very close.
Yeah,
we were very, very similar with it because you run a very, very busy household, and you're also very smart. You loved math and science. Both you and your husband did, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm. And
So
you have like a side thing that you do as well as with your kids, and I know that you have a crazy life.
Yeah. It's fun though. Crazy but fun. Definitely not boring.
I know, and that's the thing. You know, even though we both live crazy lives, I think I'd rather have it that way than having nothing going on.
Yeah, for sure.
I have so many different irons in my fire, but what was your favorite part of 2019? Amber Hunt is asking.
My favorite part was the birth of my third child, for sure. So, she was born in June of 2019. So that was the most exciting thing. And then we went to the pastor's retreat in Arizona. So that was really nerve-wracking, and we didn't know what to expect. We were flying with 3 kids. We have both flown, Jason and I have both flown a bunch, but never with our kids. So that, and with a newborn and a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old at the time, we were really nervous about how that would go, but it went really well, and they did great on the flight. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
I remember that. You were so brave. All of you ones with the little kids, I almost like felt bad for you because here I have all my older teenagers like helping me lug the luggage in and help with the baby, and then you guys have to divvy up the kids between what hands you have available.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it all worked out and it was good. That was like, we were trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do with our luggage and the kids and the car seat and stroller and all of that, but it worked out great. So
yeah, I think 2019 was one of my best years that I can remember in a long time. 2018 was a bad year for me as far as loss. I lost one of my best friends and miscarriage, and it just started out bad in 2018. So 2019 was kind of like a fresh start, and there was a lot of highlights for me. But I mean, obviously in January I had Kelly, so that was a huge highlight for me. And then also starting my piano academy was a big deal to me, and it's gone so well since I started it. I mean, above and beyond my most wild dreams. So thank you to Karen for giving me the nudge to do that. Karen Rodriguez, my friend, who she is such a motivator. Oh my goodness, she needs to be like a life coach. She's such a motivator. But they asked, what do you look forward to the most this year?
Oh man. Yeah. So I think I always look forward to breaks and vacations. My husband's so busy. He works a full-time secular job, and he is a pastor. So he's just really busy. And when we get time where he, takes time off work, or if we're going on a vacation. So I think we're planning a family vacation to the beach this year.
Oh, yay.
So we're really looking forward to that. We don't have anything set in stone, but that's something I'm looking forward to. But I don't know. I don't have any big plans this year, honestly. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm not one to set resolutions. I don't know. I don't make big goals. Maybe I should. Maybe that would motivate me, but
see, you're another one that's another area like me. I'm honestly, my life mantra, whatever, lately has been just one day at a time. So I used to be a planner. I used to think ahead about a lot of things, but when it comes to just life, I'm the same way. I kind of just live to enjoy every minute now and kind of take things day by day. I don't really, I'm the same way. I don't know. Just keep doing what we're doing, I guess, raising our kids for the Lord and
Yeah.
getting through school. And now, do you have any kids in school yet?
So I do preschool with Clara. It's
Okay.
not kindergarten. I do have a curriculum I use. It's called Playing Preschool. I follow this lady on Instagram. She's called the Busy Toddler. I don't know if anybody else follows her, but she has some really cute ideas for just simple activities to do with your kids, specifically toddlers. And so she actually wrote a curriculum, and it's all like just preschool stuff. And I don't do it every day, but the girls really like it. And one of the main reasons I started doing anything with Clara was because she needs a lot of attention from me. And so her behavior after Emma was born, her behavior, she was struggling and she was acting out, just not getting enough attention. So I thought if I do this with her, it'll be something that she'll make her feel special, kind of more one-on-one time, and she'll still be learning. So it's not like kindergarten, but it's just more playing, kind of learning at the same time.
You said she's going to be 4?
No, she's going to be 5. She'll be 5 in September. 5. Yeah, she's 4 now.
There's, I've gotten worse with that as I've had each kid. Like I started my 3 oldest when they were 4, and I wish I wouldn't have. I regretted that because they are going to graduate when they're 17.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I didn't really like that. So I started going later and later. And now with Lana, when she started kindergarten this year, she's 5. I waited till she was 5. She'll be 6 in March. And she didn't know anything. She didn't know her letters. She didn't know her entire alphabet even. But now, I mean, it's only been a few months and she's reading. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think starting them so super early is overrated. Personally.
My plan right now is to start Clara when she turns 6. So her birthday's in the fall. So I'll probably start like in August and she'll be 6 in September. We're not going to start this year. I'll probably still keep doing little activities with her. She really likes it. She asks to do stuff. She calls it school, but she asks to do school. So as long as she's asking and wanting to learn, I do stuff with her. But I'm not going to get an actual kindergarten curriculum until she's going to be 6.
Right. Now, someone asked, I'll try to get to all your guys' questions, so just keep leaving them as we speak. Okay, I'm going to have to probably backtrack a lot. But another KJV 1611 said, has the press or newspaper ever come against your church?
Yes, they have. So we've had this past year, I'm trying to think when it was. I think it was this past year. So it was like really random. My husband preached a sermon. It wasn't even related to LGBT. It wasn't related. What was it even about? I can't even remember what it was about. It was like completely unrelated.
I can't remember.
And there was like a little blurb in there about a conversation he had with a guy at this shooting match, and they took that and it just exploded. And people contacted the media, and he was on the news, and so there was like this big news report about it, and they contacted him and he did an interview. And anyway, so it turned out to be not that bad, but yeah, we have been on the news and people contacted, and
that was local. It was
local. Yes, it was local.
We have never been, the newspaper has not come up against us here, but we've, the main thing that we've dealt with is just online battles, and the atheist community hating my husband, but that's about it. It's not that bad.
We've had people contact us online too. We have a lot of online hate and a lot of talk about protests, and nobody's ever come to protest, but they threaten constantly, and so we're like, okay. He's gonna laugh about it now, but yes, we have been in the news.
Yeah. Okay, so Kirsten asked, do you have advice on keeping the house sanitary and germ-free despite it being messy? How do you prioritize? How do you disinfect? She has a daughter with cystic fibrosis, and she's been really stressed about wanting to disinfect everything sanitary under the mess and clutter. Do you have any tips?
So I just recently started looking for a more natural way to clean. And my biggest thing, so for those of you who don't know my background, I am a pharmacist. So I like data and I like studies. And when I see something, I have to research it and see why they claim what they claim. So if something says, okay, we clean, I want to know, is there proof? Does it work? How do I know you're actually cleaning? What studies do you have to support what you're saying? Are you actually killing the germs? Whatever. So I found this product and I've used it for a couple months now. It's called Force of Nature.
Mm-hmm.
And they have studies to back it up. It's tested and approved by the EPA to kill. It has like a list of different bacteria and different viruses that it kills. And basically what it is, it's a solution that contains salt, and you mix it in this water solution, and you plug it in and you pour it into an electrolyzer, and it breaks up the molecules and forms new molecules. And the solution it makes is called, I think it's called hypochloric acid, something like that. It's similar to bleach, but it's non-toxic. It's safe for children, safe for animals, and it kills bacteria and viruses. So I've been using that. I use it on everything. It's safe for any surface. So it's safe for wood, stainless steel, glass, bathrooms. So that's what I use right now for everything, disinfecting wise. And
so it's called Force of Nature. I've never heard of that.
Yeah. So up front, it's a little bit pricey. And then once you buy the actual equipment, and it comes with, there's different packages you can get, but it comes with so many solutions to mix. And then you just buy the solution. So yeah, so far I like it. I think it does a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
And it smells like chlorine. So Clara loves it. She's like, it smells like the swimming pool. Which it does. It smells like the swimming pool. So
that's fine.
Anyway, I think it works great.
So along those lines, Ashley asked, with you being a pharmacist, is she for or against vaccines?
So, okay, I am, I'm against vaccines for the most part. There are certain circumstances that I would get vaccinated. If I was attacked by a rabid animal, I would get the rabies vaccine. Mm-hmm. And I would. Actually, where I live, there's really an outbreak of rabies right now among cats and raccoons. And so there's been a lot of people that have taken in kittens, or they've just been outside and there's been a cat and the cat scratched them. And I would 100% say go get the rabies vaccine. That's just my personal opinion, because rabies is actually something that will kill you. It's not just like a virus or a bacteria that your body will recover from in a week. So for me, the risk benefit ratio in that standpoint, I'm not against people who get vaccines. I think that it's a risk benefit that you need to determine on your own. So you need to figure out, look up the diseases. If you think the disease is more risky, then get the vaccine. If you think the vaccines are more risky, then don't get the vaccine.
Let's talk about RhoGAM shot. What do you think about that? Because this has come up quite a bit in our circles.
Yeah.
And I have a strong opinion about it, but being a pharmacist, what is yours?
So with RhoGAM, basically what's going on in that situation is, if a mother, you can have positive blood type or negative blood type. This is just going to be really basic. So if I misspeak from a technicality standpoint, please forgive me. But so you can either have positive blood or negative blood. If you have negative blood and you get pregnant and your baby has positive blood, there is a chance that your blood can mix. And when this happens, it's usually later, like in the 3rd trimester. And it could happen if you were to have any type of abdominal trauma. It could happen also if you have a miscarriage, your blood is likely to mix. If you have a tubal pregnancy, your blood's likely to mix. And then during the birthing process, there's a chance that your blood could mix. And if you think about it, when your babies are being born, they're under a lot of pressure. And so they can have even just really small breaks in their skin that could have little tiny, it could just be micro amounts of blood. It only takes a little teeny tiny bit to mix. So it's not like your baby's gushing blood and it's mixing with yours. This could be just little tiny mix,
Right.
little tiny breaks in their blood vessels that could mix with your blood. And when that happens, if you have negative blood and it comes in contact with the baby's positive blood, your bodies will create antibodies against that. So nothing will happen during that pregnancy.
Right.
The next pregnancy, though, if you get pregnant and your baby has positive blood, your body will then attack and cause the baby to have severe anemia. It will cause their blood cells to lyse. And when that happens, the antibodies cross the placenta. And so that will cause the baby's blood cells to lyse. And the baby will either there's a very high mortality rate prior to birth. And if the baby does survive and is born, they will have severe anemia.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do not get the RhoGAM shot and you have a baby that has positive blood and you have negative, you're likely to, in subsequent pregnancies, have a lot of trouble, either with miscarriage or potentially significant health consequences to your future babies. So the RhoGAM shot, the way that works is it temporarily prevents your body from creating antibodies to the presence of that positive blood type.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have to get it with every pregnancy because it's not a permanent, it's only temporary. So you get it at usually they give it sometime in the end of the second, beginning of the third trimester, because that's when the chance of your blood mixing is highest. And then they give it prior to birth. Mm-hmm. And then subsequent pregnancies after that. Mm-hmm. Now, if you are negative blood type and your husband's negative blood type, there's no need to get the RhoGAM shot because there's no way that you'll have a child with positive blood. Right.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy the way that works too, the blood type, because even though my husband and I are both A positive, we have, which I've never experienced, obviously I'm not negative, but I have do I have two children that have a negative blood type? It's really crazy. We have a bunch of A positive children, but we have one with A negative. Abby is A negative. And then we have one with O positive or O negative. And it was so funny because when we had you have their blood type tested in the hospital and it came up these two different times, the nurses were like, how can that happen with both you and your husband? Like they had to go Google it and like research it because they didn't know that we could have a child with a different blood type, even though we have the same one. But, there's just recessive genes in there somewhere because my mom has O type blood. So it was somehow, I don't know. Genetics are crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I think about RhoGAM. I highly, strongly would recommend it for your children's safety.
Yeah. Yours. And that's my opinion on it as well. It's not what you would consider a vaccination. No. If you're not inserting viruses into your body, into your bloodstream, it's something completely different. So, and to also protect the life of your future children. So I do have strong opinions about that as well. Explain rabies to me. Is it still, I have not researched rabies. Is there any cure once you get it, or is it still like the dark ages where once you get rabies, you're done for?
So there's a medication. It's basically the rabies immune globulin.
Okay.
And so it really depends on when you were exposed, how long you've had exposure, if it's already started attacking the body and things of that nature. So there are treatments, but it really just depends on when you're exposed, what your symptoms are, how long you've had it, and things of that nature.
I still remember when I was growing up, Did you ever watch Dr. Quinn, Medicine Women, when you were growing up?
No, but I didn't watch it regularly, but yeah, I heard.
That was like one of my favorite shows. And I believe her son got rabies and ended up dying. And it was a horrible death because he was like foaming at the mouth. And I've always been scared of rabies since then.
Yeah, it's not something to play around with.
We have a lot of questions about college. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. So, and Kirsten, I'll come back to yours in just a minute. Shelly, that's awful. She said her daughter was bitten. Are you able to see these comments?
Yeah, I am. I didn't want to like look away from the camera and try to, but I can.
Said, well, I kind of want to read them for the live too. Shelly said, my daughter was bitten by an unvaccinated dog, and we definitely got her the rabies vaccination series of shots. It was horrible, but risking.
The shots are awful.
Yeah,
I will say they're awful. A lot of people have side effects, and yeah, it's just not pleasant. But I would say it's better than rabies.
Yeah, I would too. And then another KJV 1611 said, did you decide to go for college, then graduate school, before or after getting saved?
So I got saved when I was 7. I did not grow up in a Baptist church. I grew up in a more of a non-denominational church, but very conservative. So it wasn't like, a lot of times when people hear non-denominational, the first thing that comes to mind is like the mega churches, that type of, but my church was not like that. It was very small. It was an independent church, and we sang hymns, and anyway, very conservative. So I got saved at the age of 7. Most of my upbringing was, I would say, very similar to Baptist, but not the same, not quite the same. Anyway, so no, I was saved before that. I was saved at 7. And so my thought process at the time, I'm not saying that this is my thought process now or what I would recommend now, but my thought process at the time was I would go and get an education. And I always wanted to be a mom, and I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I chose a path that I knew would be financially, it's not something I would go to school for and be in debt and never be able to pay it off. So from a financial standpoint, I thought it was smart. And then from a work-life balance standpoint, pharmacists can have really good work-life balance. So that was my reasoning for choosing that. And also I was not in any type of relationship or talking to any guy at the time. And so there was no prospect of me getting married at that point. So that's kind of the path that I chose. Now, I'm not saying that I would recommend girls leave home and follow my footsteps. I was just kind of telling you what I did.
So along those lines, Ashley asked, in the NIFB movement, college is often frowned upon. How do you feel if your girls wanted to go to school for a career?
Okay, so Jason and I both are very pro education, especially for young men, if they're interested in that. So I don't regret my education at all. I find it extremely helpful. And if for anything, it's extremely helpful for teaching my children. So, and if not necessarily my daughters, but if I have sons in the future, if they're interested in college, I would push them or encourage them to choose something, a degree that's a career, not a degree that's a subject. So I think that is something that a lot of people miss. So for example, my husband's an engineer. That's a degree that is equivalent to a career. You can get a career in that. If you go to school and get a degree in like English or a degree
liberal arts, any liberal arts degree.
Liberal arts, yeah. If you get a degree in a subject, that's not going to equate to a career unless you're going to teach that subject. So you can teach, if you get a degree in math, you can teach math. But so if they do want to go to college, I would say definitely encourage that. But you need to choose something that you're going to be able to get a career in. So you're not just going to go to school for communications or, something that's not going to land a career.
Well, even when it comes to anything musical, you can eventually make money being a teacher. But as far as performing, it is an extremely high bar. when it comes to performance opportunities. I mean, you pretty much need to go to Juilliard. You need to be one of the best in the world. And that's a very, very small percentage of the population. So, whereas I didn't have, college training, but I had private lessons for so many years, 14, 15 years. That has helped me so much in my life, just having the side business of teaching piano. And I see nothing wrong with women. I treasure education too, and being educated and being researched on things and being able to do something from the side. I mean, the Proverbs 31 woman worked, from her home as well. She sold to the merchants, and, she made things for her family and sold and had profit and bought a vineyard and all these other things. So I definitely see, and also, like you said too, as far as college goes with, there are certain, if you're going to be going into certain fields, you need to go to college for that. Medical, anything medical, like you said, an engineer, there are different things. And I would encourage my boys if they were so inclined to. Both of my boys, though, I don't think they have an interest in anything that would need a college degree. So,
and I don't think everybody should go to college. I think there's a lot of great job opportunities that do not require a college education. But, if my kids were interested in going to college, then I would encourage them to go down a path that's going to give them a career. Now, the question was about my daughters. Yeah. So I am going to encourage my daughters to get an education or some type of training after they graduate high school, because I don't want them sitting at home not doing anything if they're not, getting married right out of high school, which I don't know. But I would still encourage that. Especially, I think it's really helpful for homeschooling. The more education you have and the more knowledge you have, the more you're going to be able to share that knowledge with your children. Now, you don't have to go to college to homeschool your kids. You can homeschool your kids without going to college, but more education is not going to be harmful. And you can, take online courses. You don't have to go to a college campus. Right. So I'm not against girls having a college education. I think education is great. Yeah. And the more you know, the less likely you are to get sucked in to false doctrine in the Bible and just false arguments with life in general.
Right. So question for Cassandra, would you also encourage your girls to go to college? And I don't think Holly said she would encourage them.
No, I encourage, not necessarily college, just some type of education or training.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with what you said about the online thing. I mean, I'm an online piano teacher, so I can see just the opportunities that are open with the online things. I have always encouraged my kids to read, to educate themselves better. And now that we do have all the opportunities that come with having the internet, there really is no excuse for me. No, I won't send my kids off. I will not send, especially my girls, off to a college. I won't not have them go away. But like Holly said, there's so many opportunities that they can further their education through online opportunities, through musical opportunities. My daughter is getting very advanced at piano. And so I have her training under an advanced teacher right now, and that's training her for future. Maybe I can take her on as an apprentice to start teaching piano lessons under me. I mean, there's so many opportunities. There's so many people everywhere that want to take music lessons, and there's not a lot of good teachers, and there's especially not a lot of good teachers teaching the style of music that we play. So, but yeah, I think you put words in Holly's mouth. I don't think she said that. She did say that she wants them to further their education, which I am all for as well. So
yeah, education doesn't mean college.
Exactly. I know. I don't know why people think that.
Yeah, you can get education in so many different avenues that don't require you to go to college. But even if you did choose college, pretty much everything can be done online. And
yep.
Yeah. So
my brother-in-law right now, he did go to college here in Illinois to get his bachelor's, but I believe everything else he's gotten his master's, and I think he's working towards a doctorate in business, if there's such a thing. I'm pretty sure he said doctorate. He's done it all online. So
you can go to pharmacy school online.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
I know. Yeah, I'm totally I'm totally with you as well. I have a feeling who another KJV 1611 is, but anyways. So there was a question up here. Oh, Amber had asked earlier, what curriculum, do you have a curriculum in mind that you're going to use for your 5-year-old when she goes into kindergarten?
So right now I think I'm going to use a Becca.
Yeah.
Just starting out. I'm probably not, I don't know. I'm probably not going to use a Becca all through for her, but I from what I've seen, I really like it in the early stages. I think they have a really solid reading program, teaching
They
you.
have an amazing reading program.
So I think that's what I'm going to do. Plus my my cousin, her little girl, did a Becca, and she has all kinds of stuff she's giving me for free. So anyway, yeah, I think I'm going to do a Becca.
Yeah, they have a good phonics program. And I've done ACE with all of my kids, teaching them to read up until Lana. And I have Lana in the online video school for Rebecca. I love the teachers. I know you're probably not going to do the online route, but I love even just the teachers that they have teaching the kids. They play fun games with them. They do a bunch of stuff that makes it just more interesting, more than I could. And she's learning to read. I kind of did like I wanted to see if she would learn quicker than the children who did ACE, and so far she is. So yeah. So
I've heard really great things about it. I obviously don't have experience with that, but that's what I think I'm going to do.
Yeah, it's a good program. It's a really good program. Someone said seamstresses are getting more rare, so that's a good career that can be done from home. I've heard of people doing that. Mm-hmm. Sewing things, doing Etsy shops and things like that. So, okay, I had some other...
like if you want to do something at home, getting education in business, just learning the ins and outs of how to run a business.
Yeah,
you're going to do online stuff because there's a lot. I mean, you have to understand how to operate a business, how to do taxes, how to even, or you could learn things about how to do building a website.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that is, requires some form of education. So anyway.
It does. Yeah, and all this stuff has been thrown at me. Karen's walked me through a lot of it. And you know what? Karen's taught all of her stuff this too. Karen Rodriguez, she's pretty much taught herself. And now she's using her talents to help other people and help build them websites and, help them. So yeah, she's never stopped learning, even though she's not in college right now. Ashley asked, do you deal with unfair expectations with church members on you or your kids?
I personally don't feel like I do. I know that I don't know, maybe people do and I just ignore them. I don't feel like I do.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of times too, church members, they kind of start adapting. I don't know if you've noticed this. They start adapting the personality of their pastor a lot of places. And if you guys are easygoing about things, then they're going to be easygoing too about things. And if you're gracious about things, they're going to be gracious. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I've noticed that, but.
I just saw Kimmy's comment. I've seen that. The Ron Paul curriculum.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
The business. Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know. This is so interesting seeing the different ways that the conversation goes. I didn't know that it would be going so much towards the college route, but we need some more questions though, guys. So start asking your questions.
Shirley adapts. That's true, Paula.
Now they are the ones, her daughter was the one that made me the quilt, right? Yes, that's my favorite quilt still. Tell her I absolutely love it. It's still my favorite one. You should have seen the gifts that she made for Kelly when she was born. It was so sweet. And that took a lot of talent. All of that stuff took a lot of talent that she did for me. And it'll be something that'll be treasured forever. So you don't know, your girls can be such a blessing to other people just by learning skills like that, quilting and sewing. And I know it was special to me and I'll always treasure it. So, oh yes, Kirsten asked about breastfeeding. I'm sorry. Okay, let me go up there. I knew I was going to have to go back. What are your thoughts on breastfeeding covered? They already know my thoughts on this versus breastfeeding discreetly, but with no cover over the baby.
Okay. Oh, I just made my camera on.
I know, I just did that earlier.
Okay, so I think that you should do whatever you're comfortable with. So if you don't feel comfortable breastfeeding uncovered, then cover. And if you feel comfortable breastfeeding uncovered and you can be discreet about it, then do that. That's how I feel.
So you don't have any signs up at your church anywhere?
No, we've never had signs.
No. Yeah, we don't either. It's just, and in our church, it's never been a hard rule either way. And women, you know what? Women have done what they're comfortable with. So
we have a mixture of both. And I'll say when my babies are little, I will cover, because newborns have such a hard time latching, and you have to like really guide them to get them to latch. And that's challenging for me to do discreetly. So I cover. Now Emma's older and I have all these great nursing clothes from different, like Milky Ma and Latch Mama, whatever those. I have some really, and so it makes it a lot easier to nurse discreetly. So I don't always cover, and she fights it when I cover. It's like she's like won't eat. She's just pushing the cover off and kicking, and so then it's just a battle trying to get her to eat. So, but whatever you do, just do what's comfortable for you and what works for you and your baby.
Yep. I've always said you've got to have your own standards in your life because they're your standards, not because what someone else is telling you, either for or against it. You have to determine what is right for you. You can't go off of, someone else's advice all the time. That's why I'll say a lot of times this is my opinion. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. So Anne's Augustine, her comment looked a lot like Kirsten's. That's why I missed it. She said, now being a seasoned wife of a pastor. Are you seasoned? Do you feel like you're seasoned?
I don't know if I'm seasoned.
But... yeah, I don't feel like I'm seasoned half the time either. Now being a seasoned wife, maybe that's why she put it in quotation, seasoned wife of a pastor, what would be your best advice to a woman whose husband aspires to be a pastor in the coming years, just so she is prepared mentally, spiritually, and emotionally?
Yeah, so definitely one of my biggest recommendations is make sure that you are regularly going to every single service all the time with your kids, and start setting that expectation right now. So get to church early. Everybody who's watching at my church is probably laughing that I just said that, because we're not early people.
Get to church early, Holly.
Don't be late for the service. Get there on time. Get to all services, because if you're a pastor's wife, you're going to be doing that. So you need to just make sure that is a routine that's already established. Another thing is you're going to be, this is maybe not, you need to be have time set aside for Bible reading and praying and making sure that you are strong spiritually. But when you're at church, you're going to be doing a lot by yourself. So you're not going to have your husband there to help you corral the kids. So that for me is one of the hardest things, because my kids are all little. And so that's something that you're going to have to get used to, and just know ahead of time, be mentally prepared for that. Mentally prepared to corral your kids. And I'm sure once my kids are older, it's going to be easier. But right now,
it'll get easier. It's still, and you'll have help, because I have help with my teenagers.
Yeah. So another thing is your husband's going to be really busy. And so you have to make sure that you can encourage him and allow him to have the time that he needs to write his sermons and he's going to have to do a lot of extra Bible reading and a lot of extra preparation to get his sermons ready. And especially if he's like my husband who's working. So you do have to make sacrifices. And I would just say knowing that up front, so you're not taken off guard with big surprises about losing family time. And because it's a sacrifice, there's going to be less family time.
There is. And I would say my suggestion would be, it's not just his thing. This isn't just something that he's doing. This is your life now.
Yeah.
And you need to be behind your husband 100% and make it your thing too. I've heard of pastors' wives who they say, it's not my thing, it's my husband's thing. And it needs to be it's our whole family's thing. Like our whole family, Liberty Baptist Church is like home away from home. It is our life too. And it's our children. It's always been important. I'm the same way as you, Holly. I get there early, I stay late. We stay the whole day on Sunday for the most part.
I get there early.
Get there early, stay late.
Stay late, get there early. Yeah. Maybe not quite early. Never miss the service, but
we're always at least 45 minutes early. So 45 minutes, if we're anything less than an hour early, my husband thinks we're late. So when we drive together, we're always at least an hour early. When I drive by myself, it's 45 minutes. So that's funny.
We have this great thing called the coffee and pastry hour before church.
Mm-hmm.
That's our buffer time. That's our buffer.
Yep, exactly. We do that too. We do coffee, but it's usually between services, like between Sunday school and church. So Kirsten said she asked the question about breastfeeding in case Virginia passes crazy gun laws and we have to move to West Virginia. I don't want to offend anyone by nursing uncovered in the nursery.
I nurse uncovered in the service, and I nurse uncovered in the mother baby room. And so a lot of people do. Some people cover, some people don't. It's just kind of whatever.
Your husband just answered the question. He said, we don't believe you need to cover when breastfeeding. A lot of the ladies do cover, which is fine, but it's not mandatory. So I am more comfortable with covering. That's just my preference. But like you said, though, with a lot of the nursing clothes that we have nowadays, it makes it super easy to just even look like the baby's just laying there sleeping, like nothing's even, you can be very discreet. As my babies get older, though, they get to where they're flailing and, it's a lot harder to nurse that way. So, okay, someone else asked a question. Let me see. Do you ever feel neglected as a pastor's wife?
Neglected?
Question.
I don't feel neglected. No, I never feel neglected. There's definitely sacrifices, but I don't feel neglected. And my husband does a really great job prioritizing us as a family.
That's what I was thinking. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I never feel neglected.
And I think it is up to the husband to really prioritize that, because I know for me, my love language is quality time. So there have been times when maybe things are just so crazy for both of us. I start to feel like my love tank's a little empty. So, for us, it just works for me to say, listen, bub, I need some of your time. And if your husband is a good man, like, Brother Jason is, like my husband is, then they realize that that's important. They realize they need to spend the time with you and your kids. And especially when your kids are so small, and it's so much more work with all the kids when they're little. Let me see if someone asked something about
there's something about
baby wear.
Yeah.
Something about baby wear. Let's see.
I saw that too. Where is it?
Oh, do you like baby wearing? If so, what are your favorite ways to wear your baby?
I've tried a wrap. I've tried like the traditional baby carrier, and I've tried the ring sling. And my favorite is the wrap. Mm-hmm. The wrap I have is the boba wrap, and that's my favorite. I have a Lily baby carrier.
That's my favorite. Lila baby is mine.
And I like it. I use it. But my complaint with that, and I just think it's my body frame. It feels loose.
It's your body frame. It's because you're so skinny. I don't have that problem. I have hips.
So the way it fits, I wear it low and it kind of rubs my hips a little bit.
That's why, yeah. It's because of your frame.
Yeah. So I do use it some. I like that because I feel like my baby's a little more secure. So like when they're older and they start arching backwards, the Lily baby, they're not going to fall out of it. With the wrap, they will fall out of it when they get older and they start arching backwards.
Yeah.
The wrap to me is more comfortable though. The ring sling, I have used it several times, but and I don't know, I just feel like it's a little bit uneven, the weight distribution. So yeah, it kind of does hurt my shoulder a little bit. So I've used it for younger newborn type, but my favorite's the boba wrap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like what was the wrap that I got? Was it Ergo? It's the one that's like a ring and you put it over and then it crisscrosses. That worked really well when she was really little, when she was tiny. but she loves the Lila baby. And it was so cute because today she saw my ring sling laying by the bed, and she came out dragging it and wanted me to put it on.
No.
She wanted me to wear. So since I've worn her in it, me and Abby have both worn her in it since she was born. She loves it. So Lila baby is my favorite, especially because I have back problems, and I feel like that's the one that's the best.
It does have good back support. So I also had a hand-me-down Baby Bjorn carrier, and it hurt my back so bad. But the little baby has two great back supports. It has one on the top and one around the back. So from like my back standpoint, it's very comfortable.
Yep. Catan, that's it, Jessica. It's the Catan wrap. That was really good for when Kelly was tiny. I just saw some pictures of it today from a year ago, and it was so cute.
I tried Catan, and I think it might just be my body frame too, because I had a small, and the baby sat so low. Like, I feel like they need to be on my chest, and they were like really low. So anyway, I
probably have to get like the
extra
small one. You would have to get like the extra small one.
Yeah.
Frame. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like baby wearing though. I think it's a lifesaver, especially if you have a colicky baby. And I use it to go grocery shopping. So I will wear my baby and put one in the cart or two in the cart. I don't like Claire to walk. I just feel like somebody's gonna grab her.
Speaking of grocery shopping, I know you're not to that point yet, but do you menu plan? How do you do it with a budget with groceries? Do you menu plan? What are your favorite tips for grocery shopping?
So we do have a budget, a rough budget that I try to stay in. And I make a list before I go to the grocery store. And honestly, I buy like the same thing every week.
I know.
I go grocery shopping every week, and I pretty much buy the same thing. So I live really close to Walmart. I don't like going to Walmart, but I'm so close. It's like 3 miles down the road from my house. The other grocery stores I like a lot more, but they're further. So I will alternate. And I don't like buying meat at Walmart. I'll buy meat at other places. So one week I might buy meat and stock up, and then I put it in the freezer. And then so I don't have to buy meat at Walmart. But so I do menu plan usually before I go to the grocery store. I think ahead of what I'm going to make for the week and make sure I have if I don't have stuff in the pantry, I will write down what I need. And I do use Walmart online ordering a lot.
That's what I was going to ask. Have you tried? I am addicted now to Walmart pickup. I have done it 2 weeks in a row, and I don't think I'm ever going to go grocery shopping again. So.
I did it today, and I text my husband. I was like, "Hey, I put in an order. Will you pick it up on the way home?" And he does. So yeah, it's awesome.
Nice. Yes. I absolutely loathe, and despise grocery shopping. So that's one of the things. I don't know. I feel like it's just so much time. And there's so much I could be doing other than grocery shopping, but it's like a necessary evil. And especially with you when you have all those little kids. So
they like going. So it makes it nice because they like going grocery shopping. And they're honestly usually pretty well behaved when we're there. But I'm running out of room in the cart if I put Clara in the cart. So she has been walking. People probably think I'm crazy, but anyway. Giant Eagle, which is a grocery store near us, they have this really cute cart, and it has 2 seats, and the top's shaped like a car, and then it has actually 2 baskets below. So it's really, it's not like the kind that you feel like you're pushing a truck. This is one where the baskets are. Anyway, it's nice. They love it. They think it's like the greatest thing ever. So
it's like field trip. Yay, grocery store.
Yeah. And they like to pick out food. Like they always have requests. So usually it's like pineapple or watermelon. Those are their 2 favorites.
That's funny.
Great.
Miss Jerry said she loves your new hairstyle.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, tell us about what you did with your hair.
Okay, so the last time I got my hair cut was June 2017. And I remember that because it was right after Anna. It might have been July. It was right after Anna was born. And I had my hair cut similar to this. And I didn't intentionally not cut my hair. It just kind of happened. And it was getting out of control. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get it cut. And then it was the person that I had gone to several times was moving. And so, man, I can't go there. I need to find someone different to cut my hair. Then I decided I was going to donate it. So I ended up donating to Wigs for Kids, which is basically an organization that takes donated hair and makes wigs for kids with multiple, it could be cancer or genetic conditions that cause them to lose their hair, or burn victims. So yeah, so I did that. So I got my hair cut. This is probably 2.5 weeks ago, close to 3 weeks ago maybe. And I got like 15 plus inches.
Wow.
That was crazy.
Wasn't it almost to your waist?
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
That's the floor picture. It was crazy long.
I didn't do that intentionally, it just kind of happened.
Yeah. No, we get busy. We get, I know how it is. It's been a year since I've had mine cut, so it's time for me to have it cut too. So if you guys have any more questions, leave them quick because we're going to be wrapping it up soon. It's been almost an hour. I don't see any more. Someone asked about insurance, but I don't think it was to you. It was they were asking someone else.
Oh, breast pumps. There was something about breast pumps.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. A lot of insurance companies cover a free breast pump. They do. And I can't remember the name of the company that you can go through online. They will actually sort that all out for you.
Mm-hmm. A lot of companies, if you just contact your insurance company, all you have to do is they'll just basically tell you buy whatever breast pump you want, or they'll give you like 3 or 4 options and then mail us in a receipt, and then you can get reimbursed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's companies that'll do everything for you, or you can just directly contact your insurance company and they'll tell you what your options are, and then a lot of times you'll just get reimbursed. So I recommend having a breast pump for multiple reasons.
Yes, fine.
One, for if you ever were to have to leave your baby for whatever reason, whether it's an illness, like with Anna, I had an unexpected surgery that I had to have. And so it was really great that I had breast milk that I could, that I had stored away for her when I wasn't able to nurse her. So that, and then also it can help with supply issues. So if you have low supply, if you pump, it can help increase your supply. Or if you have too much of a supply, it can help with engorgement. So I think pumps are great to have. You don't have to pump all the time, but it just gives you a little bit of help.
Mm-hmm. No, I can't. I love mine. I've always done Medela. I've heard good things about Spectra, but I'm a Medela girl. I started using it when I had my first, and then I just got a new one with Kelly. The insurance covered it, and it was shipped directly to my house. And I even just used it last week when I went away for the first time since she was born overnight. She's still not weaned. So I even used it last week because I had to pump a couple times since we left overnight. So it does come in very, very handy.
I also have is it called Haka or Haka?
Haka. Mm-hmm,
yeah. I have this, and it's super convenient. That's like the easiest way to start building up a breast milk stash.
It is.
Just apply to the other side that you're not feeding. And sometimes I only get like 1/2 ounce or 1 ounce, and then other times I'll get like 2.5 ounces. So It's really, I don't know, it's really cool.
It's easy.
And it's a lot easier.
Kirsten, Ashley asked what your favorite song is. That's a nice, short, easy one.
My favorite song? Oh man. Jeez. Okay, so I'm really weird because I don't have a favorite color. I don't really have a favorite song. I don't really have a favorite food. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm so easygoing. I'm just like, I love food. I like music. I like colors. I don't have like a really specific favorite song. Let me think.
I know, now I'm thinking of what would mine be. My husband and I sang a song to each other at my wedding, on our wedding day. That was probably Yours Forever. That's one of my favorite songs. And then there's a Ron Hamilton, his daughter, Megan. She has a song that she sings that's really beautiful. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but that's one of my favorite songs. And then it as well as my favorite hymn. Are you looking it up now?
Yeah. No, I was looking at
The questions.
Yeah. Walmart does deliver. Somebody said Walmart delivers. They do.
I don't think they deliver to me though. I'm like way outside of town. So Anne's had a good one about cutting the family out.
As a pharmacist, do you have an opinion on Miralax?
Oh yeah, Miralax too. I missed that one.
There's no issues from it freaking out. But I'm curious if lactulose is safer or just less common. So lactulose, both of those are actually very common. Miralax is not approved for children, but it's used all the time for children. And kids do have a lot of, there are a lot of side effects with it, but it's used all the time. So all my training's in a hospital, not in an outpatient setting. So I see like the worst of the worst. And most of the time what I see, it's risk versus benefit. So I probably would never, I don't know if I would tell anybody to use that, not in the hospital, but we use it in the hospital all the time. And there are a lot of side effects with it. But lactulose, I wouldn't say it's less common. It's used very commonly too.
Why do I keep hearing more and more about this Miralax? It keeps popping up different places. Is this becoming a problem with kids?
So I don't know if it's just recently been getting more press. I don't know why you would be seeing more about it. I mean, it's been known. It's not like a newfound thing that they have these side effects. But I will say this. Most medications used in children are not approved for children because it's really difficult for drug companies to do studies in children. It's really expensive and it's really hard to recruit patients. So basically hospitals and doctors do like a risk versus benefit, and there will be really, really small studies or case reports. And so that's what they use to support their use. So most medications do not have an FDA approval for children. So like everybody's freaking out that Miralax isn't approved in children, but most medications aren't. But it does have really bad side effects. The behavioral side effects are real. That's not just something you see online. That's documented.
I've never taken it. I've never even thought about giving it to my kids. So,
but like for a child that has a lot of bowel problems, it'd be better than a perforated bowel. So if your child has and I know that your child has cystic fibrosis, so if she's having a lot of bowel issues and dietary measures aren't helping or other less harsh bowel regimens wouldn't help, then I would say that would be better than having impactment or bowel perforation.
Yep. And then Ashley asked thoughts on medication for mental illness like bipolar, schizophrenia, etc. Did you know this was going to turn into like a medicine talk?
Okay, so what, like if I think it's okay to use them or if they have
probably just your thoughts on it.
Okay,
not okay.
Yeah, so if somebody has an actual mental condition, I'm not going to, depression, when it comes to depression, I am more inclined to say no. But when it comes to somebody that has bipolar or schizophrenia or any other neuropsychological disorder, I am very pro medication because it can significantly help their life. Now, I will say that a lot of the medications have significant side effects, and so they need to be used and monitored appropriately. And so they need to find a physician who can monitor those medications and dose them at the lowest dose that can treat their symptoms. But a lot of those conditions are very debilitating, like schizophrenia and bipolar are very debilitating conditions. And I mean, some people can live and manage without medications, but other people can't. And if they need medication to function, then I think that's fine.
Do you think that there is over medicating going on?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, because I have definitely seen the mental issues that I was like, they need medication. But then I do see where there are some, maybe they're just, going through a rough time in life.
Yes.
And they want something to fix that. And, so there are two sides to it.
I will say, okay, so with depression, and this is probably a really touchy subject that I can of worms I probably shouldn't have been, but I'm going to.
Go for it.
Depression,
go for it.
It's real. Okay. Depression is real. And, but most people are depressed because of a circumstance in their life, not because of an imbalance, a hormonal imbalance.
Right.
So, with that being said, it's okay to feel depressed, but medication isn't going to fix your circumstance.
Yeah.
And so I think that seeking help is appropriate. You should, if you're depressed, then especially if you're, considering self-harm or harming others, or if you're having crazy irrational thoughts, seek help, get counsel from someone. But medication is not going to help that. And so a lot of people seek medication for anxiety, and anxiety is like a normal feeling. Feeling anxious over something is normal, and feeling depressed is also normal for certain circumstances. But medication doesn't get rid of that circumstance. It just makes you feel really numb.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I think that you should face the circumstance and learn good coping skills before ever turning to any type of medication. But
you put that very, very well. I like the way you put that. I agree 100%. Mm-hmm.
Most people feel anxious or depressed and then immediately go and try to seek medication so that those feelings go away. And then instead of just addressing the feelings and dealing with the reason you have them, because medication is not going to get rid of those reasons for having those feelings.
Exactly. Very well said. Mm-hmm. And then someone asked, do you give your children any supplements or vitamins regularly?
So we do elderberry syrup, and I give them elderberry gummies, which the elderberry gummies, I don't really know if they do anything because the amount of elderberry in them is so small, but
very minute.
They enjoy them. They taste good.
Better than regular gummies, I guess.
Yeah, they taste good. And the ones that I have, they don't have a lot of crazy ingredients or anything like that. And they take like a multivitamin, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't usually give them anything though, other than that.
I agree. So let's go with the one question that was kind of heavy and try to wrap it up in the next couple minutes. But have you ladies had to cut family out due to their intense resistance to the gospel, even just simply for the sake of your children and the impression that could be made on them, dealing with that now?
I have not. I'm really blessed. My family, I grew up in a Christian family. Most of my immediate family and even a lot of my extended relatives are saved. Mm-hmm. And the ones that aren't saved aren't anybody that I would ever cut out of my life or my children's lives. And same with my husband's family. There have been, there's people in both of our families that aren't saved, but in our immediate family, like people that we would regularly see, there's nobody that we would cut out of our lives or our children's lives.
Mm-hmm. I've been blessed in that area as well. I grew up in a Christian home. My husband's family are all saved as well. And one thing with my brothers and sisters that I have to say is that they do not agree with a lot of the things that we believe. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them have chosen different paths for their life than I would. But one thing with my family is that we always grew up we were not afraid of confrontation. So we would confront something that we didn't agree with, and then we just get over it. So I can get with my family and we can have massive disagreements with things, but we know how to get along because, ultimately they are my siblings and I love them and they love me. I'm the oldest of 5. So, same with my parents, we have disagreements, but we know how to just look past those disagreements and get along with each other. So
Yeah.
I am blessed.
Yeah, my family, my family's not Baptist. And so doctrinally and lifestyle wise, we don't agree on a lot of things, but you know, we just know that and don't really make an issue of it.
Right. And you just learn to, you don't have to shove your beliefs in their face all the time. They know where you stand on things.
Yep.
And, you know, you don't have to make an issue out of it every get together.
Exactly. Yep.
So you can just, you know, if they want to really know your beliefs, just have them go listen to your husband's preaching. There you go. They'll find out really quick. Yeah. Okay, so I think we're going to wrap it up because it's 10 after. So I hope you guys liked this. I loved seeing, and that's good, Miss Sherry. She said that's exactly how her husband's family is too. I like that. I like it when people know how to just get along with someone not agreeing with them. Some people get so bent out of shape because someone doesn't agree with them. Who cares? You know, it's not that important. Just get over it. So Kirsten said, I think an episode on depression medication would be interesting. I used to have a job where I looked at medical records and almost 90% of almost 90% of females were on both birth control and antidepressants. That's a double whammy though, because I've done studies on birth control where that can actually cause depression.
It can. Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the side effects of it. So that would be an interesting show. Maybe I can have you on sometime later this year and we'll talk about that. So you seem to be the medicine guru that everyone's like asking all these questions to. So we'll have you back on later this year. But thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me
on. For such short notice, especially. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, comments, leave them below. Share, like the video. Look more for these mystery guests. I'm going to try to have on more guests as the year goes on. So we will see you guys next week. Holly, hang on. I'm going to end it, but then Miss Sherry said she absolutely loved hearing your knowledge about medications.
Oh, thanks, Sherry.
I do too. I love having you to just ping things off of if I have a question. Hey, what about this? What about this? What about this medicine?
I see. Do you have Kelly?
Yes.
I see her little ponytail sticking up.
Oh, yes. That's so funny. You say hi? She's in her PJ. Aw, she said hi. Say hi. Yes, her hair is lovely. Her tie back broke, so we had to find like a makeshift hairdo. That's funny that it was that big that you could see it.
I could just see it like bebopping around in the background. Bye, everybody.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Hang on there, Holly.
Okay.